Hey, hello, and welcome to another episode of Evening Crypto with your boy, your host, the Real Shaw 256. And let's start off by wishing you all the best for the holidays. This is the first video after Christmas. So if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Just wishing you guys all the best. Great holiday season. Stay safe. Hoping that you guys are enjoying these nice holidays. Hopefully, you're taking a break from everything else, including crypto, including trading. I certainly have had a nice little break, and I kind of been on and off on my phone, really mostly. I hadn't been able to really record any new content up until now. So, hopefully you guys didn't miss me too much. I doubt it. But here we are back for the holidays. I did want to get at least a couple more videos in before the end of the year. So let's do our usual. We'll do a recap here. We're currently sitting at 193,890, and then 24-hour volume has been pretty good. I mean, $76 billion. And then our Bitcoin dominance is at 68.6. However, if we look at TradingView, their version of the dominance chart is a little different. So we can take a look at that here just a little bit. But overall things are looking okay. I mean, a lot of green in the charts, but not by a big amount, right? I mean, I think Bitcoin Cash has recently broken out, as we do see here. Not really going to do a analysis on Bitcoin Cash, just the usual. Um, I do want to start by addressing the elephant in the room. Everybody's been talking about this for the last few days. If you've been paying attention, even if you tried not to, I think you would have heard by now already that YouTube went on this massive sort of, not, I wouldn't call it a manhunt, but sort of a blanket hunt on anything crypto. Anyway, that seems to be sort of the narrative that's going on in crypto Twitter and other platforms. YouTube going out and censoring, also deleting and canceling a lot of these YouTube crypto related channels. A lot of people were affected by this. A lot of people were complaining about this. A lot of content creators taking to whatever platform you would like to express their frustration with YouTube. And it just seems like at first, right, it seemed like YouTube was really going out after anything crypto related, going after all of these content creators that had anything to do with crypto, just because of the massive list of individuals that were hurt, damaged, victimized by the move from YouTube. Here's a list. If you guys want to go check out the article I'm reading here, I will leave the link down in the comments. It's from Cointelegraph. And here's a compiled list of all the people that were in some way affected by the blanket ban. Now, I'll say this, again, a lot of people were feeling like YouTube was targeting all of these channels and all these people and anything really crypto related. I myself might have jumped into conclusions in the beginning, but here's my take on this. I do think this was targeted. I think all of these channels were targeted by individuals who, for some reason, felt the need to falsely, in a lot of cases, I would say the majority of the cases, falsely accuse these channels, these content creators of harmful material, things that could damage somebody financially, especially by promoting maybe ICOs, maybe talking about, enter X coin here. And for some reason, these individuals, took on a campaign of reporting a lot of these content creators and really causing enough damage to the community where everybody was pretty much up in arms, complaining and expressing their frustration with YouTube, while YouTube did not really go out there. I don't go, started themselves a campaign to really censor these channels. It was more a trigger from these individuals that triggered this sort of campaign to this sort of campaign to really hurt these channels. The reason behind that, I don't know. I did see some. I did see some individuals posting to their channels or their Twitter account where they received several messages from the individuals that were taking on the duties of falsely reporting these content creators due to harmful material. Initially, it was also thought that YouTube has also raised their children material labeling and reporting. So as content creators, we have to click on a button or click on a box that says, "Is this content for children?" or "This is not content for children," and we're obligated to click on a box that determines whether the material you are producing is meant for children or not. Right. So that was another version that was going around, that maybe it was because of more stringent rules, and YouTube really going out to really execute on those rules. But again, that all sounds really great and all, but it really seems like these individuals were really the ones that caused all the damage. I personally, my channel was not affected by this in any way, shape, or form, because I don't think that I am that. I don't enjoy the high-profile channel or social media profile to really be somebody that to have somebody that would go after my channel, and maybe perhaps because I don't shill any other coins. I don't really talk about ICOs. I if anything, I tell you guys to steer away from ICOs, steer away from shit coins, anything that's not in the top 15, top 20. I really, try to preach to you guys to not invest in those coins, to really be careful when you are trading with this market. I myself don't, try my best not to meddle in shit coins, and stick to the top 15, top 10, 20 maybe, for several reasons, right? Lack of liquidity, manipulation, too shallow of a market, you name it. Too many things going on. So I pretty much stick to Bitcoin, maybe Link, and a couple others, but that's pretty much it. So, I wanted to give you guys my take, let you know that far beyond YouTube targeting, far beyond further stringent regulation on YouTube in regards to children material. I think these individuals really took it upon themselves to really impact the market in such a way, and it was more driven along those lines, right? And you might say, well, YouTube put out a message saying that their algorithms messed up. I think is maybe there's an investigation going on behind the scenes, and they don't really want to really come out and say, hey, look, and throw somebody under the bus, because they're not really certain and not 100% sure that the content that they deleted and banned was really harmful. So they probably have to run a full investigation before they release an official statement as to why that happened. In my opinion, they don't want to throw somebody under the bus and say, hey, well, these individuals actually reached out, letting us know that there was harmful material out there. All right, so by the time they caught it, it was already too late. All right, so that's my take. Hopefully you guys are doing your own research, doing your own thing. Leave it down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, your theories, what you guys are thinking was the main driver of the big issue over the holidays. All right, let's actually get into the charts and move away from that. I do want to again recommend you guys follow me on Twitter. I do put out some of these chart updates. I did see XLM having sort of a possible breakout, as well as VET VChain. So I was letting you guys know over Twitter. Let's see how those actually panned out, see if they actually did anything significant. But let's start, as always, with the Bitcoin chart. So let's do a little bit of analysis here, see where we're going for the shorter term of things. We are still, again, within this downtrend. This is definitely a bear trend, if you will. Not going to go as far as to say bear market, but it's definitely a bear trend. We're definitely consolidating downwards. We've done plenty of consolidating on the way down several times, right? But then we keep going down to lower levels, right? So that is the one thing to really pay attention to, is every time we seem to consolidate and find a base, we seem to always find a lower low, right? So until the end of that trend, you can continue to trade as if, right? Continue to follow in that trend. And we do see, let's actually zoom in here. I was talking to you guys about this demand zone here within Bitcoin that was established, maybe a couple of weeks ago. And we do see Bitcoin actually trading within it, but then getting above it, actually escaping above the demand zone here, and did a little bit of consolidation. We haven't really lost it, right? And the demand zone is really going to be this blue rectangle here. If we're above it, that's a better sign. If we're below it, that means we lost this area of support. It's called the demand zone. And we're currently trying to consolidate above it, which would be a good sign. However, we're looking at the 4-hour here. However, we seem to not be able to get above the 200 EMA here, which is indicative of a bad, it's just a bad indication that if we keep rejecting off the 200, we're probably going to come back and retest the support here within the demand zone, but could potentially also lose it and come back and retest this previous low. As long as we don't lose this previous low here, this local low that we set up, that we established here back in call it December 17th, then as long as we don't lose this low, then we're going to be all right. Right? The natural thing is that we find another bounce, but we're within the micro trend of things, as we've established a sort of descending channel as well. You can call it a symmetrical or descending channel here, but either way, I think that'll be the right way to call it. And until further notice. But what are we expecting here? It is a good thing that we are consolidating above this demand zone. We are above the 200 EMA here, above a few or a couple of EMAs and SMAs here. Simple moving averages. We seem to be, again, rejecting off the 200 EMA, which is, and a lot of times, a game changer. Whether we're above it, then our outlook would be to be on the bull side. If we are below it, the outlook is on the bear side. Currently, we see the RSI trying to get above into the middle of the neutral zone here. Can we get above this exponential here, the 21, within the stochastic RSI? That would be an indication that we might have another shot at the 200. If we can get above it and actually climb into the bull control zone like we did back here, see how we were actually able to get not only past the 21 here on the stochastic, but actually get above the 200 there. It was kind of short-lived. We did come back and lose the 200. Thus, we are not able to really jump on the bull side. But again, we have another shot here. We have another try here. If we can get above this exponential here and onto the bull side, again, that'll mean a definite retest of the 200. If we can get above it, quite possibly come back and retest again this top area of resistance. And then at that point, you might want to start scaling out of your position. We do have the 377 coming in right on top of it, almost in confluence there. very close together, certainly. So that'll be an area of interest there. We're definitely huge area of interest. I don't think that we're going to just, uh, just bruise through it and jump above it and actually start consolidating above the 377. I don't think we're just there yet. I think this channel will have to get a little more filled before we do that. Right. So again, right now we're sort of on the more bullish side because we're above we're trading above and consolidating above the demand zone. Right. That's as we should. That's a normal sign. But until we don't retest this area, here's the bear case. Right. We're just mentioning the bull case and everything that we just explained and everything that just comes along with it. But now let's talk about the bear case. Look, since back here, we've been forming these head and shoulder, these flipped head and shoulders, right? We do have one here. Here's the left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We did sort of a rounded bottom here. Cup and handle failed. But then we went right back into another inverse head and shoulders. Right, here's the right shoulder, here's the left shoulder, and then from there just jumping into another sort of this one is an upright head and shoulders. Here's the left shoulder, here's the head, here's the right shoulder, right? And they've actually been working out, right? So they've actually played out. Here's one, boom, played out. Here's another one, and boom, played out, right? So again, this is a trend. We're within a trend, and I do think this could actually potentially play out, even though we're sort of trying to get above it here, and actually come back and retest. If we zoom out, not only do we have a potential head and shoulders formation here, let's actually zoom out quite a bit here, so maybe you guys can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Right, so this trend, top to bottom, retest of the bottom, retest of the top, retest of the bottom, no retest of the top. I've been telling you guys for the last few videos on the bullish cases, we need to come back and follow the trend, right, and come back and retest these areas of resistance up here to stick within this trend. But just within this macro trend, there's a micro trend going on that's really preventing Bitcoin from going up to retest this top line of resistance. And so therefore, if you look at this, this looks like it's a bit exhausted and like it actually wants to come back down and retest this bottom area. So that is in the more bear case, right? Look at the stochastic here on the 4-hour again. We definitely want to see another retest of these prior areas here. We haven't had a retest prior to this one since back in, when was this? November 27th. So right at Thanksgiving, we had this inverse head and shoulders actually play out and just momentarily reach the top of this resistance bar and then come back down, right? Yeah, so we do have this head and shoulders indicating that we should come back and at least retest this bottom area of support here within this micro trend. And again, it's not going to be an ultra bear case if we actually break down below this previous pivot low. If we retest this area of support here, it's not going to be a bearish case. Even if we come down here, and as long as we hold this area of support here at 5,900, we're still going to be all right. We're still going to be okay. All right. So I don't want don't want anybody getting too bearish on this. I will, for full disclosure, I did remove about half of my position with Bitcoin. I do have half of my position still in, half of my position in cash. Why? Because I am expecting maybe a retest of at the very least this area here around 7,000, where I'll be setting up my buy orders around 7,000 and 6,900. I do think that is definitely in the cards. So I am playing my game accordingly. Jesus. Let me get rid of these stupid little notifications. Here we go. Sorry about that. All right, so there's going to have to be a retest of either, and then from there we'll see if this formation actually holds. If it breaks down below it, then this sort of formation is over with, and we're moving on to something different. Right now, we'll probably begin by bouncing from here and then consolidate somewhere higher, and then go from there. But at this point, it does look like we need to make a decision. I'm not going to say that we're going to get a decision before the end of the year. I do think this can actually carry on sideways within this range till past the new year, and then we'll see from there. But don't expect too much. I was talking to somebody here recently about trading, and I was explaining how kind of boring these markets were as of late. Not a whole lot of volatility, not a whole lot of opportunity here within Bitcoin, and even so I started to look into other opportunities within the stock market, traditional markets, and even some altcoins at that point. And I did actually try to enter into a gold ETF, since I do sense we are coming into a sort of a high point in the traditional markets, specifically the S&P, the Nasdaq. I think we're pretty close to reaching a top and the reversal. And here's my thinking. So not only are we overextended, I mean, look at the run, right? I mean, we're way extended. I mean, this is just the epitome of a bull market. Look at the stochastic, just constantly living in the bull control zone, right? So this is the epitome of a bull market, while this is sort of the epitome of a bear trend. Not BNB, sorry, Bitcoin, right? So try to explain this to you guys. We're there may be some better opportunity within traditional markets, as we do see they just keep setting a new record all-time high pretty much every day for the last 11-12 days, right? But at that point, there's got to be an end to this pretty soon, based on how extended this run is, this bull market is, market conditions, the Federal Reserve coming out, and acting upon certain things, right? Like quantitative easing, like the repo market, those sort of things. And if we look at the not so distant horizon, it does look like quantitative tightening might be around the corner as well. Even though they haven't said it, the market conditions are, just kind of, signaling that, hey, market's doing just absolutely great. So a different consideration might be coming in, right? And we'd also look at gold, right? Why gold? Because it is sort of a hedge play, and the smart people usually are pretty much ahead of the game. We do see a nice little jump within gold, which could signify that some of these individuals trading in traditional markets, the Nasdaq, the S&P, are starting to see the same thing, that we're just about to top off here, and it's probably best to start hedging in gold. I mean, this is sort of the pendulum swing that a lot of these savvy traders, traditional markets traders, look at for things like hedging or looking for a safe haven. So as these markets start to top off, gold and silver start to look kind of like the natural play there. All right, so let's get on to those tweets that I was talking about, specifically with XLM. It did look like it was actually trying to break above its area of resistance that's been coming in for quite a while now, and we actually did break out. However, we're consolidating above the 55 here, which is a good sign. Could be continuation, although this depending on where we close the next 4-hour candle here, which should be in about an hour and 30 minutes, hour 20 minutes, depending on where we close, this might actually start to signal a reversal, right? So that run might be over. This was meant for sort of a scalp move, as I did mention on my tweet. So we did break out. Hopefully you guys got that. How are we going to break down? It certainly does look like it. I mean, if we look at the 2-hour, see what the 2 hour is telling us. It's flattening out. Our volume is still pretty good here. The last couple of 4 hour or 2 hour candles have been above the exponential here, and the running up to this point has been pretty significant volume above the exponential here. So again, it's something that confirms a move to either side, right? To whether it's to the upside or downside, we do want to see volume coming in to support the move, and we actually did get that. We're starting to flatten out here on a 2 hour. Again, a lot of times these shorter time frames do translate to the higher time frames. The 1 hour is also signaling like, we could actually come back and turn around at these points, at these levels. Let's actually look at the 3 hour. 3 hours kind of looking at the same thing, looking to make a move to the downside depending on where we close this next candle. Could also signify or signal a reversal. All right, let's actually go back to VET. This doji candle here. Now, this box here again represents a previous demand zone. It's now turned into a supply zone. So it's going to be very difficult for VeChain to actually get above it. What I'd like to see first is actually consolidation within it, and then a continuation of this run. But I do think we're going to get stopped out here. Again, depending on where these next couple of 3 or 4 hour candles, like this one right here, is looking like a perfect doji reversal after an uptrend. So this also is looking like it's trying to reverse. But again, we won't know until the next 3 hour closes or the next 4 hour closes here, depending on where this one ends up going. We do see a couple of retests of the supply zone and also rejecting off the 200 EMA there. So definitely not a good sign. No consolidation within the box. No consolidation within the box or above the 200 EMA. So we remain sort of steady on the mindset that this is probably going to be the end of the run. Come back and retest this descending line of resistance, now turned into support. And we hope that it holds, because if it does hold, then there's another possibility that we come back and retest the supply zone now. All right, that pretty much wraps it up. I do want to talk about Waves, which was doing something interesting, now consolidating within this triangle, but not enough oomph in it. The last few 4 hour candles have been below the exponential here, so not enough trading volume. I do think the people that were behind this pump have probably already left, taken profits and already left, unless they want to prove me wrong. But it's definitely not looking too bearish at the moment. We're still above the 21. As long as we remain above the 21 here, that even the 55, which is coming in confluence with the bottom area of support here, as long as we don't lose these two, we're going to be all right. I think if we do lose them, here's the next area where we might find some support here at 0.0001034. All right, that's for Waves. And Tezos, which was also doing something interesting, lost to 200. I think I told you guys about this, that it was looking like it wanted to lose or come back and retest at 200, but then we lost it. So it's definitely looking very, very bearish, and looks like it's lost a lot of its interest from a lot of these investors coming in and pumping the price all the way up here. So we'll have to wait. I mean, do we come back and retest the 377? It does look like we could at $1.30. So look for that. That's going to be a pretty good area of support, actually. So look for that move 6 cents lower, and then perhaps think about maybe loading up on some pesos there. XRP, before we leave, XRP, this was a previous demand zone that we established. We retested it. It is good that we are actually consolidating above it. We're not actually we're not even getting into the supply zone here, which is good. And it's also good to have these supply zones drawn out, because again, when we are in a otherwise bearish posture and there are no more EMAs or SMAs to really kind of help us, guide us as to are we going to continue on a downtrend or uptrend. Once we get down below all of these moving averages, it's always good to find an area where the supply zone comes in, and this is kind of how we drew it out here. So the way to plot a demand zone is right here. You'll see this big dump candle or red candle, a big red candle, significantly bigger than the following green candle, and we're going to take the closing of the candle down to the low of the candle, right? And that's how we're going to build our demand zone. If we lose it, then on the way up, that'll act as resistance, but we're going to call it the supply zone at that point. That's where people are going to start to sell off, right? But we are again trading above this demand zone, being pained by the 55 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 tries, and again being rejected by the 55. So as long as this remains, we probably are going to come back and retest down here somewhere within the 18 cents range before we make another try. All right, and let's look at Link real quick. Link is trading above the 21 here, so there's still some hope remaining on the short term of things. We are above the 21 here within the stochastic, and we're just trading within this range, being rejected by the 200 simple here on the 4 hour. As long as we remain below it, there's nothing to really talk about, and then we're going to come back and retest this. If we do get above it, we are going to come back and retest $2.05 coming in around right where the 200 is. So that'll be a nice area of conflict there. Whether we break above it or not, it will be a good solid indicator as to whether we get bearish or bullish. All right, guys. So leave it down in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking. If you guys are, maybe following a certain coin that looks like it's about to break out, leave it down in the comments so other people can also benefit from it. Here, looking at Binance coin, does look like it wants to break out. It did get above the 55 here, so there is a possible breakout, just depending on what happens here with the 200 and the 89 coming in confluence here, acting as resistance at $13.68. Again, just depending on what happens there. We do see the 89 kind of taming the price action here for the time being. Currently trying to consolidate above the 55. If we can manage to open and close some 4 hours above the 55, we started to think about continuation. But at this point, there are certain things that are looking good, but we still have to wait for confirmation. We did get above this pivot here, which is good. Volume is looking pretty healthy, pretty indicative of the fact that we could actually continue on this run, and the stochastic is also signaling that we can actually come back and reach the bull control zone. So pay attention to BNB. I think there's also a breakout there potentially to be had. All right, guys. Hope that you got something in exchange for your time here tonight. I appreciate you joining. Remember to please hit the notification bell. Hit the subscribe button there and the notification bell so you get notified when I put out this content. Also, if you want to look at the long-term analysis, click on this box here on the left side of your screen, and that will take you to the video where we did some long-term analysis. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining. We'll see you on the next one. Happy holidays, and hope you have an excellent new year.